Hi, my name is Ariel Cuevas. I am based out of Houston, Texas, and this is Financial Audit. Oh, and I'm 23. Do you want me to say that again?
Okay. No, you're good. So cool. What are you doing for a living in your early 20s in Houston, Texas?
Yeah, so I'm actually an executive assistant for a top producing agent in Houston for real estate.
Very cool. So just manage like his schedule and a bunch of different stuff, paperwork.
As well as like drafting contracts, speaking with the client. I didn't scrunch my
hair. I've done this, like, I'm getting bad at this. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Continue, and I will scrunch.
I draft contracts as well as client communication, scheduling showings, everything that's needed, honestly. Just everything except for like bringing in the clients, right? Like being the face of it. I'm kind of like the behind the scenes. Yeah.
Oh, sure. That makes sense. Yeah. And what do you bring in on a yearly basis right now?
So I actually just started at the beginning of January.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going on
2.5 months in. Yeah.
About. I am right now. I'm currently at $18 an hour, but as my contract, it is 19. Yeah.
Why? Why are you getting 18 when it says 19?
Because it's a 90-day like
trial.
Yeah.
Okay. You're almost at the end of that.
Yeah.
It's only an extra $1 after that 90 days?
Yeah, it's only an extra $1, which.
Odd. May as well just do the 19 now. I don't whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tell me about it.
How many hours a week are you working on average?
So I do 40 hours. The thing is I'm salary, but yeah. Okay. So this is where I get confused. And so I'm a salary, right? But when we did the interviews and everything, it was like 5 interviews that I went through. But I kept asking about the pay, and they said it was salary, but I'm getting paid like hourly, so I don't exactly know how that works.
Are you getting a consistent paycheck?
Yeah.
No. Is it like the same every paycheck?
No.
So you're getting paid hourly. It's not salary. They said it was salary.
That's why that's what I'm confused on.
Did you not look over the employment contract and you signed it?
I did. No, okay. I did, and I signed it and everything. And I've kind of brought it up a couple times, but it's not something. The way that he kind of mentioned it, it was like, oh, well, the way I explained it was, so would my salary be 19 times 4 times 12, right? Would that be like what my annual salary would be?
No, it would be like 19 times 40 times 52.
Yeah, there you go.
Which, by the way, the 18 that you're at, I guess we may as well do the 19 because that's where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Gets us to $39,520 before taxes, and it wouldn't.
So like 32 after around, right?
Yeah, I mean, you probably wouldn't have very much in terms of taxes, but yeah, it'd probably bring you down to, I'm guessing, about 32, 33.
That's kind of where I was in my calculations too, which
that's if you work 40 hours a week every week, never taking any time off.
I do.
To be clear.
This is technically my first day that I've taken off. Since I started.
But I assume at some point, I mean, you're only 2.5 months in, you will take like a week off.
No.
Never in your life? You're never going to take a vacation?
Not in my life. That's what I'm saying. So the way that I kind of had this job planned out and the way we had spoke about it was one of my main factors is growth within a company. So within the first year, I would start out as executive assistant. The second year, I would hire myself out, so I would get a replacement as the executive assistant. And is
this your plan or their plan?
This was planned. This is
okay.
Our
they also planned to have you on salary.
I know. That's why I'm only a few months in, so if that's not the way it goes, there's always different paths that I can take. But this is as per our contract how it's supposed to go.
Sure.
The second year, I do more management, of not just the new executive assistant, but the new agents coming in, since we're like a growing team.
Man, I mean, I'll tell you, just as someone who's, hired my first time, my first full-time employee, and I've had a couple part-times, including kind of like an internship. I mean, as a business, and that is a business, is a real estate thing, we all hope for a lot of things, but things will change. So I don't know if I would like hold on to that.
I don't necessarily hold on to a lot of things because I know life is very flexible. You don't always get what you intended, but that's the goal so far, and that's what I'm gonna have envisioned until something strays me different and I gotta switch. I'm very adaptable. I would hope so.
And if you're very adaptable, adapt to hitting the subscribe button because it's a good luck charm.
Hey.
Yeah.
So so far. And then the second year, I would do more management with the salary or hourly raise. And then after that second year, I would go back to being a buyer's agent. And the reason I started out being an executive assistant, I'm originally from Washington State. I moved to El Paso about 5 years ago with my mom.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I got my license about a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. I was doing everything out there, but this is kind of where I got myself into a little bit of a situation, was because I was serving and I was doing good. Like, I was getting a good hourly. Like, I'm a very good customer service, connection wise.
Okay.
And so I had always had the plan of like doing something either real estate or within like buildings, all of that, because we actually had over 10 acres in Washington State. So I had wanted to eventually turn that into duplexes, or some type of property development.
Okay.
So I wanted to...
Well, we can definitely talk about what you want to do and where you want to go and like, where you're from and why things, blah, blah, blah. But I want to get into the finances first.
That's kind of where it heads into.
Yeah.
So I started to do real estate. Right. But when I started to do real estate, I didn't have the backup. Like, I didn't have tangible cash, or like, I put it on, like, my schooling, I put that on credit. And that's kind of where it started. Yes.
So explain your financial situation before I jump into it from your perspective.
Okay, so my financial situation is getting better. As of about last year, once I started to do like my schooling and everything, that's kind of where I got into a mess. But like, do you want me to say how much I'm in debt, or do you want me to?
Well, we'll go through it, but I was just curious, from your perspective, how you're seeing things. I'm glad it's getting better.
Yeah.
So has the fire been like lit under your butt at some point? And what was that wake up call, if there was?
So not necessarily there was a fire. Like, when I got into real estate, I was ready to go, but it takes time to get your first client, your first everything, really. Okay. So I was, like I said, I had already put my schooling on credit, so I didn't have money to go off of. I was living with my mom, so I didn't pay rent or anything like that. But regardless, I was making purchases like my signage. I was buying signs that I should not have been buying, $200-$300 per sign, and I bought like 4 of them.
Well, okay.
For the open house signs. And then I had bought a brand new laptop, which was kind of needed because mine was kind of like, it would shut off during random times. So I did need that. But then I also got a brand new phone. That one was just kind of out of a splurge. I was like, well, I need to look the part, Mm-hmm. I had got some shoes, some clothes, just going out to eat with other agents because it's like they had money.
Okay, so you spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get into things. What I'm immediately confused about, and this is kind of what is drawing stress immediately, is you specifically said the words, "I'm getting better," yet you started your checking account with negative $6.56.
Yeah.
How was that possibly going better?
So if you want to take a look at that little screenshot I sent you, that's actually a little like...
The budget?
The budget...
Well, we can get to the budget after we get through the debts.
It shows how I've been doing better. In January is when I started my job, and I feel like I was doing a lot of spending already before that because, I don't know, like seeing that debt, it was stressing me out.
Still,
and I feel like...
this is the end of January.
Yeah.
So you were getting paychecks here.
No, I hadn't yet. So
How at the end of January were you not getting paychecks?
Because I started like a week into January, the 7th, and my boss, he was like, "Oh, well, since we're already going to be around the 15th, if you want to get paid at the end of the month, so it can just be one full check." I know I should have said no.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
That sounds weird.
I know I should have said no, but I didn't. So I didn't get paid till the end of the month that month. So
okay, well, let's talk about the end of the next month. You still only ended with $7.40. So all it takes is one reoccurring charge or pay through, which most people are on.
I'm not.
You're not.
I do everything off of
That's manual.
Yeah, I do everything off of my head. I have all my apps and everything.
Your rent's not?
No, I don't pay rent. I live with my boyfriend at the moment, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, the only big debts that I have are like my credit card debts and my car.
No, we'll get to your debts, but we're talking about your checking account right now.
Yeah. So all of that goes to either miscellaneous stuff that I was doing or my debts, which in January, I did not do good in paying towards my debt. I did like $500 towards my debt. In February, I went up to $1,000 that was being paid off through my debt. Again, we're in your checking
account right now, so let's just stay on subject.
But
so
that's what I'm saying.
Let's just stay on subject. So we're trying to get out of debt, and we're doing better. Yet everything, I'm gonna hide the account number. Everything on here that's an X is crap. It's crap you don't need.
Yeah.
Doing better, and this ended only a couple weeks ago. This statement. So you're doing vending, Uber Eats, salon crap, vending.
So the vending actually stopped.
Okay. Well, then it must have literally just stopped. Edu class and Naya vending and morning brew subscription and Nayax vending, Waffle Bus, Empire Smoke Shop, Expensive Addiction, Best Stop 2, Beauty Place vending, Dairy Queen vending,
so the vending,
Panera Bread, the Best Shop, Blue Ocean Smoothies vending, Best Stop, selling out $100. Who knows where that went? And Amazon thing, Pentagon Federal Transfer $300.
That's my car payment.
Oh, okay.
But
and Amazon and Whataburger and Panera and K-Dog and Amazon and Sam Houston fee of some kind.
Oh, that's my dog food.
Okay, and Amazon and McDonald's. And then there are also lots of Targets in here. I know you can never tell with Target if it's groceries or going to Target.
Tell me about it. I've tried to stop going to Target, honestly, because you go in there for one thing and it ends up going crazy.
Well, if that's the case, then there's a lot of Targets I didn't mention that were just riddled to death.
Yeah, so like the vending one, that's a little coffee machine at my work. And in my head, I was like, okay, I don't want to go get Starbucks, so I would make my coffee at home, but then I would go get an espresso shot at work. So what I ended up doing is because I saw that like consistency of like me paying for the $2.50, and I know that adds up. So what I did, I bought a $20 mocha pot, and now I make espresso at home.
Good. Yeah. Oh, very, very happy to hear that.
Because
we're still eating out a ton though.
Not anymore. Within that month, yes, but March I've spent total on expenses, which includes dog food, beauty, fast food, groceries. I have spent $250.
So what has turned things around?
Like I was trying to say, when I was in hard debt and I was barely starting to get into it, I feel like it was kind of like stressing me out to the point where I was like, not depressed, but like it was feeding into it, And so once I was able to finally start to get that consistent paycheck, that consistency back, I was like, okay, yeah, all of that needs to stop. And I've been putting it all towards my debt.
Well, good. I'm glad you've started that. The thing is, you said so far in March, we're only a couple weeks in March, and we have all these habits here, which are easy to fall back into. I'm going to congratulate you for cutting it back these last couple weeks. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That doesn't erase my nerves around it, especially seeing people on the show historically.
It doesn't erase my nerves either.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like. But I know myself, and I know I'm a financially good person. It's just that once I got into this situation, it kind of like
I haven't seen anything to
me.
demonstrate that, especially with the debt. I don't know financially good.
Okay,
unless you mean that in a different way than I'm interpreting it.
Beforehand, before I started to get into this debt, I was financially good. That's what I'm saying. Once I started to get into it, it was kind of like a spiral down, So growing up, I actually bought my car about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, but I would not have even bought it. I have a 93 Mustang, a Fox body. She's my baby. And I was planning to get her fixed up. The only thing that was really wrong with her was like the AC, and the battery would die out like randomly. So I went to take her to a mechanic, and I had the mechanic kind of swindled me in the sense that he was like, okay, well, we can do this. But he was like, look at all these car parts, blah, blah, blah. And so I ended up spending a good amount on that. And I was like, and the thing that I had taken it in to get fixed, they didn't even fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of got me on that one. And that's when I was like, dang, like either I can go into spend more money on this or I can get like a reliable car. And I ended up getting a used car.
Okay, we'll talk about your car when we get to your car. Let's stay on topic, please.
So what do you want to?
Yeah, so we have credit card debt.
Yeah.
Now, how many years did it take you to get into this hole that you're in terms of the credit card debt? Not cars, stuff
a year.
Like that. Just a year?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me extra nervous because if you went into this within just a year, it could be so easy to slide back.
That I went into it because I didn't have a consistent job. I was only doing.
Why didn't you get a job?
Because the real estate company that I started out with.
Why didn't you do something that wasn't real estate?
The real estate company that I was with, they kept insisting that I do not get a part-time job.
Well, them.
I know that now. I know that now. They kept insisting that not even a part-time job or else I wasn't going to make it as a real estate agent, like filling my head with all of this. I realize that now. Yeah. But that's kind of how that happened because I kept telling them, and I know they're not necessarily like my bosses or anything, but I had like a mentor and she was like, no, don't get a job. You're going to focus on that job and you're not going to be able to do real estate. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to just focus on it completely. I had finally gotten a listing. I was about to get a listing. Like I worked so hard. I brought them in. I did a full presentation on why they should list with me, yada, yada, yada. And they ended up going with somebody else because of a 0.5% less of commission.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. So we have here, sorry, I have to cut off the stories. We got to do the show. So $4,864 on a City Costco card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Made only $150 of payments within this statement. $74.22 of interest.
Yeah.
Costco card, interesting card to just rack up this much debt on.
It's a pretty good card, I'm not gonna lie.
And as far as store cards go, it's a relatively good card. Amazon's the best though. Essentially 20% interest rate on here. Yeah. We've already had in 2023 at the time of this statement.
Yes.
This was just only edited a week ago. You've lost $239 in interest just this year so far.
I'm trying to do the snowball.
Okay.
So I've actually already paid off my Bank of America statement there. And as of my next check, I will only be left with $300 on my Apple Pay. So I will really only have two.
This Apple card?
Yes.
You'll have $300 left?
At the end of the month. So I'll really only have those two big cards to tackle, which I'm going full force and hoping I know that by at least August, latest November, I'm going to be out of debt.
So, okay, well, the Apple card, $2,033, but that's going to be brought down to what?
To like $300.
When?
By the end of the 31st.
$80.50 of charges. Why are you charging on a card that you're trying to pay off? What's the point of that?
Well, let me see. What was
that
under?
Here?
Does it say what it is?
And I will tell you what it is. $40 of interest being lost on a monthly basis on here. I'm glad you're paying it off. That's incredible. I'm definitely not upset that you're doing that.
82?
To be very clear. Of
82?
Purchases, yes, because you had Amazon, Whataburger, Best Stop, Amazon Prime, and then a couple other things that were gas. So why are we spending that on a card that we're trying to pay off?
I had made a purchase for my boss, and then he was going to Zelle me the money. And
all these were purchases for your boss?
No, that's what I'm saying. I did a purchase for him. He was going to Zelle me the money, and in that instant, I was like, I'm gonna get some Whataburger. I know I should not have.
Twice? Plus ordering two things on Amazon?
Yeah.
Plus Best Stop?
Best Stop was gas.
Plus having other things on here.
Like what?
Like your other gases and your T-Mobile bill on a card you're trying to pay off instead of having it on a checking account?
I don't have T-Mobile.
Metro by T-Mobile?
Oh, yeah. I switched over because I was with Verizon and they were charging me like $85
well, that's
for my
fine.
phone
But again,
bill.
you have an ongoing charge here to a credit card that you're trying to pay off.
No, not anymore.
You've moved it to your checking account?
Yeah, so I moved to Metro, and that was just, I didn't have the full activation fee or whatever, so I put it on that card and paid it off.
Now we have a Freedom card. Is this the one that you said you paid off?
No, that one is going to be the next after my Apple.
So this has $3,865.05 owed, with a minimum monthly payment of $127 with interest, yikes, of $88.96.
And then can I add another
reason?
reason?
What are you doing? $62.89 of purchases on a card you're trying to pay off. Why did you put your TurboTax on this? You're trying to pay off a card.
Because I didn't have money in my checkings account. And
then why'd you?
When I did my TurboTax,
you didn't need to do your taxes yet at that time. Why didn't you wait till you had money?
When I did my TurboTax, they were like, "Oh, at the end, like you can get your tax return. We'll take it out of your tax return." And I had already done it, and I was like, I don't want to pay an extra $40 that they were trying to charge to do that. So I was like, I'm gonna put it on a card, and
$62.
Yeah.
And why didn't you wait till you had money?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to my head, all of my money right now is going towards my card. So regardless, it was going to get paid off.
Well, sure, but it doesn't make sense to put it towards a place that debts already have. It's just the mindset around that. It makes me nervous that. Like, you might get out of this, but we've seen so many times on the show where someone goes crazy and in a good way to pay off all the debt. But then all of a sudden, eventually they get back in it. Then they go crazy to get out of the debt, and then they get back in it. If we're putting things on cards that already have debt and we're having negative balances in our checking account, what are we doing?
Yeah, so
I'm a little nervous with that. 30% interest rate on here, so yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that's happening out. And so far with what I'm seeing here, I think the snowball method definitely works best for you because we have, to a certain extent, a credit card consolidation wouldn't be the worst either, but I think this still makes the most sense.
My
Wait, I
card payment.
don't have another card. So you paid off another card that I don't have?
Which one?
You said you paid off a card of some kind.
Yeah, my Bank of America.
Okay, so you just didn't send it?
No, I sent it.
No.
I can even check. Give me 1 second.
But it's good to know that that's gone.
Yeah, I definitely took care of that.
And that was the smallest balance, I'm assuming?
That was the smallest. It was $1,300.
Okay. Jeez, yeah, you got yourself into a lot of credit card debt in just a year.
I did. Oh, I didn't send it. I'm sorry. Do you want to see it?
Nope, because you paid it off.
Yes.
Which is good.
Thank you.
Yay, congratulations. But we also have a car.
Yeah, so that one, when I got it out on my own name. So they gave me 10% interest. But with that card, the sales price was $2,100 and I got them down to $16. So I'm proud of myself for that one. And then I did get a high interest payment, but a couple months later, I did refinance it to 4.25.
It's at 4.25?
Yes.
Okay.
So my car payment back then was like almost $400. Now it's at $299.
What's your minimum monthly payment now?
$299.
Oh, okay. So right now, not including the car, you are losing just over $200 a month in interest just from the credit cards that you have. That's brutal, especially $18 an hour. Yeah, that's really good.
If I can add real quick, I did also want to say another reason I wanted to come on here was because I wanted people who were kind of in my situation thinking about getting into real estate or already have and kind of went through my situation where it's not as easy as people kind of make it out to seem like, oh, you're good. Just, within the first couple months, you'll get a deal. And then the stuff that you've paid, it'll get paid off. I feel like that's kind of what got me as well. So,
which is what I try to tell people all the time on the show who say they want to go into real estate, but everyone thinks they're going to be the one who's successful, which, I mean,
it can happen, especially if you have that financial backing. But for people that,
what do you mean financial backing? Like you being able to sustain yourself?
That or support financially in the sense of I know parents help out sometimes, or just places where you can sustain for a couple months as you go on.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So $24,632.76 of debt with a $610 minimum monthly payment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're likely going to be bringing home. So we're gonna just start with 19 because that's what starts. I'm going to lay out my vision of this, and then I'm going to take a look at your budget and see how closely we align. That could be interesting to see. Probably you're going to bring home like $3,000 a month, I'm guessing.
Before taxes, right?
After. Well, if averaging out should be about 3,300, then I assumed after taxes. At 19.
At 19 probably, but that's not what I'm getting at the moment.
Yeah, what are you getting at the moment?
18. So I'm getting about 2,600.
An extra $1 shouldn't do that. Are you contributing to like 401ks? Is it taking out any health insurance?
Just like that.
And you're getting a guaranteed 40 hours a week?
Yeah. Well, guaranteed. I work 9 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. So
okay. No, I'm going to say 2008. That doesn't make sense. No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's another reason I wanted to talk.
$1,000 in taxes right now.
Talk about, because that my salary and my like that kind of does confuse me.
Are you sure you're getting paid the full amount? Have you checked?
I don't get my pay stubs. Like I don't.
Dude, this is kind of a sketchy work situation.
To the QuickBooks. Well,
I don't think you're getting paid correctly. And please correct us if you know any of us are wrong here.
You know,
but
these are thoughts that I've had through my head, but when I do bring it up, it kind of gets shrugged under the rug. So.
I don't like these people you're working for multiple reasons now. We've had so many yellow flags, and now we're getting like a couple combined red flags.
Yes, I totally understand that, but compared to where I was working before, the environment is
that's good, but
less stressful.
At a minimum, you should be getting the paid that is owed.
Yeah, and I kind of
you're getting $1,800 after taxes on a monthly basis right now. Correct? Is that what you just said?
No, 2,500 ish.
Okay, that might be. That might be about right.
Yeah, it hasn't seemed that crazy to me. But I haven't really wanted to. I wanted to bring up seeing my pay stubs, but since this is my only consistent flow for the moment, I don't want to risk anything putting me back to where I would have to like pull from cards or something.
I'm sorry, say 1,500 or 2,500?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like 2,650 is what would be coming in. A monthly basis. So, okay, $2,650. I'm going to lay out. So, you do not pay rent because you just live with your boyfriend and he doesn't expect anything? You pay utilities?
No.
Do you pay groceries?
Right now that he knows my financial situation, he kind of just wants me to pay off my debt.
Good boyfriend.
Get all of that out of the way.
I like that dude.
Yeah.
Don't like your boss, but I like this dude. So, groceries? You do groceries?
Well, I pay for my, groceries here and there.
What is that?
Like meal preps or like lunches and stuff.
Okay.
I'll pay for food sometimes.
So what do you set aside for groceries on a monthly basis?
On my budget, I have 200, but I usually only use like 100.
Okay, we'll do 200. 200 for groceries. I'm going to set aside, since it's his place, but an extra $50 for like toilet paper and stuff. That kind of crap. Just extra things for the house, if that makes sense. It's awesome that you don't pay rent. That's great. Now, your minimum monthly payments, of course, $610, which will go down as you pay off things. But that's your debt. Health insurance. Are you on your parents' health insurance?
Yeah.
Good. What's your car insurance?
180.
Okay.
So it's not bad, but it's not the best.
You don't pay utilities. You don't pay this.
I pay my phone bill, which was $80, but now it's $40, $42.
Any other monthly payments that are necessary? Renter's insurance, dog food we can include in here. So that's $1,082 a month.
That's like
needed
half
for you
my
to survive,
basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Which means you can throw a lot towards things. Do you have an emergency fund of any kind? You have nothing saved up.
Well, if I put everything on my credit cards, I don't.
What?
If I had put everything on my credit cards, I didn't have any emergency.
Okay, I think it might, because right now you're relying on your boyfriend for a lot, which is what? For your living, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's huge. That's usually like everyone's biggest monthly expense. That's a risky situation, relying on a boyfriend for that. I don't care about the status of your relationship. That does not determine the amount of risk, really, because either way, relationships can just end.
Yeah,
marriages can end, but relationships can just end. And that's what you're in. So I think actually this next month, instead of immediately trying to pay off this Apple Card, I think you set aside the extra. Of course, this is in your current pay of 18. So it's a little different, but essentially the extra $1,400 a month, I would put that in a high yield savings. I really would.
Yeah, that's what I had thought about too, but just seeing that debt, it gives me
I get it, but
yeah.
there is a level of risk that when people don't have enough saved up, if something bad happens and you don't have that, your debt situation will get worse than it is now.
I get that, yeah.
So to avoid that, we get ourselves into a slightly comfortable position. And by that, I think if we just have like $2,000 saved up for you, I think that could be okay. Yeah. So that's what I would do
next
for the remainder of this month.
Okay.
Your next paycheck and stuff like that. Then next month I'd put $500 towards that $2,000 high yield, and then I would put $1,000 towards the Apple Card.
Well, I just opened a Roth IRA.
Nope. No. Doesn't make sense to invest when these interest rates are 30%, 20%.
I haven't put anything in it yet.
And this is not your emergency fund because you're not going to pull from that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, in a high yield savings.
Okay.
Then you can put $1,000 towards the Apple Card. Then we're considering next month number 1, but you're just finishing this month by putting it a little bit towards that. How much do you think you can put towards a high yield savings this month? At
the end of the month, probably I have to pay
without paying extra to debt.
$300, $480. I could probably almost put $800 to $1,000 in there. $800
to $1,000. We'll call it $1,000. Make it $1,000. Cut back on what's necessary to make it $1,000. Then next month you're putting $1,000. So start of month number 1, you're putting $1,000 to it, and that's $2,000. Then you're putting $500 to the Apple Card. Then month number 2, you're putting $1,500 towards the Apple Card. Apple Card is payoff. Month number 3 to the Freedom Card, putting $1,500 to it. Then month number 4, we're putting $1,500 to it. Then month number 5, we're putting about $400 to it, or so, whatever is necessary. That was month number 4, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
So it'll be in about May, June, right?
And then the remainder, $1,000, will go towards the Costco card, and then it'll take another 5 months to pay off the Costco card. So at that point, we might be 9 months in. So we're pretty much ending the year.
Basically.
We're ending 2023. Now the interest rate on the car was 4%, right?
Yeah, 4.25.
Okay, 4%. What is the car?
It's a 2016 Buick LaCrosse.
I know nothing about the reliability of that car. How many miles on it?
Oh, when I got it, it was 60. Yeah.
60,000?
Yeah.
Okay. For 2016, I don't think that's bad.
And it was really well maintained. It's a very nice car.
I think what I'll do from there, because now the debt minimum monthly payments are kind of cut in half. Instead of paying off your car in this snowball thing, what I would do is you should have about $1,750 left on a monthly basis now. And you have $2,000 sitting in your high yield. For 4.5 months, I'd put $1,750 towards the high yield until you have $7,500 saved up. Yeah. So we're a year, 4.5 months in. So then you have $10,000 saved up.
Minimum payments until that, right? On my car?
Yes. Okay. And then, because you have nothing in retirement, I'm assuming.
No.
And then from there, what I would think about with this car situation, I would, you barely have any needs. I don't know what it'll look like then. Maybe you'll start contributing to rent at that point because you don't have the debts except for the car.
Yeah.
But anything that you would put towards extra that car, however you want to lay out the budget, anything extra you'd put towards that car, I would actually put towards investments.
Yeah.
Because if we're using the S&P 500, which is not investment advice of what to get into, but if I was doing that, I would know that the average, even in up and down years when you dollar cost average, the average of the S&P 500 10% will beat the 4%.
Yeah.
Now, if that interest rate was getting to 6%, it's closing the gap and the risk is a little higher, and that's where you start to hit down the car more. But you have a $10,000 emergency fund, which helps also take away some of the risk, and you can start investing towards that. In terms of that, I would max out your Roth IRA on a yearly basis and a little more because there's not a 401k through your work to take advantage of.
Yeah.
So I would probably try to max out $6,500 for your IRA and then probably do an extra at least $4,000, $4,500 in a brokerage on a yearly basis. So $10,000 a year being invested at a minimum.
I do have a brokerage account. I don't use it.
I wouldn't yet, not until you get out of the credit card debt.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're doing minimum monthly payments to your car. But if you're going to go spending a lot of extra fun, you can have fun at that point. If you're going to go spend a lot of extra fun money, take most of that instead and put it towards your car.
I'm not really much of a goer outer. What I be spending my money towards, as you can see, was kind of my issue, was food.
Yeah.
Which I've cut that off.
Yeah.
Basically.
I get it. I get it. But like,
especially
if you're going to go spend a bunch of money eating out and stuff, I'd rather have that go towards the car, if anything. But I would do minimum monthly payment, max out your Roth IRA, do an extra $4,500 in a brokerage on a yearly basis.
I'm a bit of a stress eater.
Me too. Stress eaters. Let's go.
Woo.
But I think that's it. So go ahead and pull up your thing and let's see how closely aligns with that.
Okay. Yeah, and as you can see, in January, I was starting out with expenses almost $1,500, which in March that was cut down to like $240. And
the more you can cut your expenses, like I gave you a little more room than you gave yourself, but barely. But it feels like more money's left over than is actually there towards the debts. But either way, instead of putting that towards the debts, this isn't a broken down budget, so we can't really see if it fully aligns. Either way, in terms of putting it towards the debt, again, let's get $2,000 in an emergency fund first.
I do have the brew coffee, the brew thingy, that was actually my budget. I had bought an Excel sheet that tracks transactions and does the whole dashboard each month cut down. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, you're obviously on the right track, so that's good. You got into a bad situation. My fear is just falling back into it at some point because whatever happens, a breakup happens, this happens, or we just, lose the care. That's my fear. This is still like a 1.5 year process, though, because your income is limited. The debts are high for your income, and then we're far behind on retirement. So you're not going to have a great Hammer financial score, spoiler, but it's okay. You will in a 1.5 years if you go. Oh, another thing, I don't want to just be permanently negative, but the thing is, you've demonstrated, paying towards that, but for like a couple weeks. This is a 1.5 years.
Yes, but
so is that maintained?
Considering that I've really been paying for my own stuff since I was in my teens, I feel like
but you don't have rent, and you live with your parents, and now you live with your boyfriend.
But in just the sense of even debts, like card debts, I could have gone into like a crazy card debt. I've never been really one to use my credit cards, and when I did, I was always paying it off. It was within this last year that really just got to me, and it like I said, the more I saw it grow, the more I was willy-nilly just not caring about it.
Sure. And I hope it all works out. Yeah. I feel a responsibility to be realistic from my perspective on this.
And I appreciate it. Yeah. That's also what I needed in the sense, just to make sure that I am going on the right track, and just a little reminder that I could slip up and because the emergency fund, I hadn't planned that till the end of my debt, but I do understand why that would be necessary at the moment.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts?
No, it was a good conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
For Ariel, Hammer financial score, as I said at the end, right now it's not going to be good because it's not good, but she is making progress. She's clearly on the right track. What we're doing is minimizing some risk with the emergency fund, but in general, she is going to be in a good place, just not right now. Hammer financial score, 3 out of 10. You will be there at a 7, 8 out of 10 in a 1.5 years. I believe in you. We will keep in touch and update the audience then. Make sure to check out all the resources in the description below, and don't forget to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Thanks.